The former CFO of a Nebraska bank convicted in federal court this week for using his position to generate millions in loan fraud. Aaron Luneke previously worked at Bank of the Valley in Columbus. Prosecutors say he filed fraudulent invoices at that bank to inflate the value of his car wash business. This allowed him to secure two loans totaling $4.3 million. Luneke faces up to decades in prison and possibly millions in fines as well.